You are now listening to Broken Line Podcast, presented by Fish Addictions TV. Broken Line Podcast is sponsored by Ice Strong Titanium Spring Bobber, Eskimo Ice Fishing Gear, 13 Fishing, Striker Ice, Coles Resort of Bemidji, Minnesota, Aaron Eichhorst Photography.
And here we go.
We're back for another podcast with Ben Olson.
Olson.
Or as we like to call you, Benny.
Benny, yeah.
Benny.
Olson, for real?
That's a common nickname. I'm an Olson. That's right. It's spelled the right way, though.
O-N?
It's the only way to spell it.
That's how mine is spelled.
That's right.
O-N. God, man. What's with these Norwegians?
Ole's son.
Ole's son.
I bet you, were you called Ole a lot?
My grandpa was, not me.
Not you?
No, my grandpa was Coach Ole.
Coach Ole.
Yep. So I'm not called Ole all too much, but...
Man, Mike Olson, Patrick Olson,
Yeah.
Ben Olson.
It's too many Olsons.
Yeah, I've been asked, after a Hunter's Helping Hero trip, actually, one of the guys from Grand Forks came and asked me if we were brothers. Or actually, he asked me if he was brothers, and he might have asked me if he was my dad.
Are you related to that?
Yeah, and let me guess. Just about anybody you meet new is like, oh, I know this Olson. Are you related?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not related to any Olsons.
I'm not related to any Olsons.
Now, isn't that an anomaly?
That you know of.
In this vicinity.
In this area.
Right.
I mean, other than my parents, obviously, but, yeah. It's really, in a lot of other Olsons, we talk about the same type of deal.
Yep.
But I'm not related to any Olson. So it's like, then how'd you get the last damn name? Yeah, it's at the end of the day, you start breaking it down, and we're all, relatives
We're all
of Kevin
related.
Bacon. So
Big old melting pot up here.
So with last name Olson, Ben being the first name, who are you? Who is Ben Olson?
I'm just your average guy. I grew up in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, kind of the heart of the outdoor world, right next to Bemidji. That's a very, very touchy subject. In the Grand Rapids
it's starting
area.
to get to the end of it. I mean, I went to school in Hibbing.
Yeah.
But I'm from Side Lake.
Yep.
I'm sure you've been Side Lake before.
Yep.
Okay. So I get a little excited when I hear Grand Rapids.
Right.
Like, hey.
Ranger's a tough term for Grand Rapids people to swallow.
Yeah, it is.
It starts just on the east side of Rapids. Right
About 100 yards. Right
out of city
Yeah,
limits.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I apologize. I get it.
So grew up in Grand Rapids. Moved out to Grand Forks, went to school out there. Right now I'm currently the fishing manager at Shields, the Grand Forks Shields. Worked at Reed's before, so I lived in Walker for a couple of years and moved back out to Grand Forks, and here I am today.
Just alive and well.
Alive and well, yeah, absolutely.
So, and how old are you?
I'm 26.
26 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You got a whole life ahead of you.
I do.
That's what I am.
Still
as well.
young.
26.
You guys are just,
When
children
did
to
you
me.
When did you start? How old were you when you started working at Shields?
I would have been 20 years old.
And when did you become the fishing manager at Shields?
2.5 years ago. I worked there part-time when I was going to
24.
school. Just a good gig.
So, I guess one of the
What did you go to school for?
I went to school for recreation and tourism. I wanted to do biology, and I took one biology class and dropped out of that
So
in about
not
2
today.
weeks.
Long Latin terms, isn't there?
School wasn't my strong point. I had a lot of ducks out there, and that's probably why I went 5 years.
Gotcha.
What from the aspect of being a fishing manager at a big retail store like Shields? Tell me a little bit about what that consists of. I mean, it's not every day you get someone that comes in that's, doing something like that. So, I mean, from your aspect of seeing the ins and out of people coming through and products coming through, what is it like being a fishing manager at Shields? And if Shields listens to this is when you need to shine.
Right. Yeah. No. Honestly, being fishing manager, just working kind of in the retail scene, is you get to see a lot of cool stuff, and you get to see it first.
True.
So the guys your fishermen that are waiting to see it, I've already seen it probably a year prior, and I know it's coming.
Watch out.
And then
Penny's in the seat.
also,
Lock the door.
Yeah.
Also, you're selling fun. I mean, Not too many people can say you're sitting in there and selling a guy a fishing rod, and that's a lot of fun. People are in there to buy fun, so you're selling fun. Retail isn't fun every day, but more often than not.
What's your biggest, when it comes down to customer-based being in there, what's some of the everyday questions you get, and what's some of those type of things that come through?
Yeah, a lot of guys are just looking. You get a lot of guys looking, just for a new rod. They're going to go out to Devil's Lake, and maybe they're not as experienced, and you can give them a few pointers on maybe a bottom bouncing rod for just trolling in the summer, or ice fishing. They're always after them big jumbo perch on Devil's Lake, so you're selling them awesome perch rods. And
whenever I traveled for fishing, I always bought an ice rod or an open water rod, kind of like a souvenir / postcard. Even though it was a rod you could buy anywhere, it was like, no, I got this at this location.
When you do a road trip, I mean, a lot of cases are you do end up spending some money, whether it's you're buying. You might have all the gear that you possibly need to go on this fishing trip, but you stop at a Shields or a Reed's or anything like that, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're walking out with like $60 worth of tackle and a new rod. You're buying new stuff. I mean, that's just the way
those are our souvenirs.
Yeah, I was just playing with lake trout stuff last night, and I dropped $100 online just buying new tackle that I thought was pretty cool that I didn't have at my store.
Just might as well, right?
That's right.
I mean, what the heck? What's some if you could tell someone something about being in your job position, what would it be? I mean, when people come through and people are asking you questions, I mean, all the people that are listening are people that buy products, right? They buy products from people like you. What's that one thing that you could possibly tell them in a positive note or a negative note? Like, a negative note would be like, stop asking me this specific question. It's getting irritating because everyone's asking.
You got to be patient with some of your customers, and you got to figure out who your customer is, and you got to dumb it down maybe according to them. I can figure out a person within about 10 seconds of talking to them what kind of fisherman I'm dealing with. But you got to figure out who your customer is, and don't be afraid to spend time with them. If they don't know how to tie a jig on, tie it on for them. Show them real quick.
I just was talking with Mike the other day about when it comes down to educational tips in a fishing episode. Like, let's just say In-Depth Outdoors, they're very educational.
Yep.
But I think with In-Depth Outdoors, they talk about stuff at a level that might buzz over 30-40% of the average fisherman out there.
Pretty technical stuff.
Yeah, and I can be
which I appreciate sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a professional fisherman, you listen to it, you're like, oh yeah, I get that. And then some average fisherman says, well, I don't quite get that. And you realize, well, what didn't you get about it? But I guess the way that sometimes education is presented, whether you're at the store, you might know everything, and someone comes in and they say something, and you're like, what? And then you explain it to them, and then you realize what you just said. And this isn't a bad term to say to someone like they're dumb, but the fact that you need to underplay it and dumb it down a little bit, again, not because they're dumb, but just the fact that you need to set it at an easier educational level for them to actually get it, which is fine because everyone needs to learn.
Crank it down.
Crank it down a little bit.
Yeah, don't assume anything. I mean, they might not know what a lead head jig is, and I've had that numerous times. You just put on a jig in a minnow, and they'll go, well, what's a jig? Well, I'll show you.
Right. Yep. See, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Because I was like, ooh, I'm starting at square one here.
And then you get the guy who comes back in and says it worked. That's the best part.
Yeah, for sure.
They come in and they're after their trip. So you get a lot of traffic towards that Devil's Lake area. It's like your last stop before Devil's Lake. So you get a lot of your questions, I'm guessing, based towards the Devil's Lake, the perch, the walleye, that kind of.
Big Devil's Lake market. Then you get a lot of Lake of the Woods guys. I mean, 29s run right up to Lake of the Woods.
Yep.
And this time of year, we're kicking into Winnipeg. So Winnipeg is a huge market for us. I mean, we are the central stop. Us and our Fargo location. I mean, it's huge.
Right on.
Yep.
You guys do every year what you call a Shields Fest?
Yep. So there's like a fish fest. Fargo does a lot bigger than us. Fargo, they're just such a bigger store, and they get that city traffic that comes in. I mean, they're such in a good central location. They do it huge down there. It's big.
I feel terrible. I haven't been to either towns ever.
Oh, so you haven't seen the Ferris wheel?
I haven't driven past Bagley.
Oof. It's a lot out there.
I'm always heading east, man.
Yeah,
that's where I'm from.
Usually my weekends off, I'm going east.
heading east.
I'm coming back this way.
Yep, I hear you.
That's where
Get
I'm
out
from.
of the city and get back to your roots.
I need to get trees in my blood.
We were just talking about customers, and this last podcast that Aaron and I did, we were talking about customers, weren't we?
Customer, yeah.
And I'm going to ask the question. Maybe we can get a little bit more in depth on that.
On his field.
Yeah, in your expertise, we talked about when you have a product or an item that just fails on you.
Yep.
What would be your biggest tip on going about correcting your problem? You know, broken rod, a broken auger, flasher quit working.
Someone's out on the ice and their rod snaps in half.
Yep.
What's the best route of taking to fix that?
First thing you can do is just go back to where you bought it from. I get people that come back to me all the time, say, hey, maybe this auger didn't cut right. You know what? More often than not, I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to get them a new auger if it's a different brand or if it's just a whole different one. I'm going to take care of them because, a lot of time it's not their fault. But there's also companies out there that want us to do nothing with it because they want to know what's wrong with their product. Right. So if their rod fails or their auger fails or fish house fails, they'd rather have the customer call them and say, hey,
right,
this is what happened. And more likely than not, you're going to have that new product on your doorstep within a few days.
Right.
It's tough. A lot of people don't understand that from our aspect. They think we have to take care of everything, which we usually will. But
yeah, and, when we were talking about this, I said usually emotions are high.
Yep.
And we've noticed lately the trend is to jump on social media and just start blasting away.
Yep.
And I said, on tape, that's just the wrong way to go about it.
Yep.
Cool your head.
Yep.
And be honest.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my big thing too. So broken rod, I know if it's the rod's fault or not. It's the guy who comes in and tells me, hey, a fish broke this far down from the tip. It's not the rod's fault. But if the guy tells me, hey, I stepped on my rod, I'm going to give him a new rod because he was honest to me.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. So if you listen to the last podcast, you heard it straight from the guy right here.
Yep.
You heard it right from one of the guys that sells it,
Yep.
is that if you break the rod, go to where you bought it first. And if that doesn't pan out, then sometimes you go right to the company. But
right.
Usually, on a sense, no matter what, customer service will take care of you.
Straightforward.
Right. Yep.
I'm going to be honest. I've gotten out of a half a dozen speeding tickets in my lifetime by being honest. Because
Yep.
I realized this dude that's walking up to my car has heard everything under the sun. There's nothing new that's going to come out of this mouth.
That's right.
That's going to make him believe. Do you know why I pulled the over? Yep. I was coming in hot, sir.
Yep.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Keep it down.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cool. I'm on my way.
That's
You know?
it's unreal.
Yep. And maybe explain to the customer too. Maybe they did something wrong, and you can just say, hey, maybe you shouldn't have been flinging a 20-inch walleye over the boat. The rod's not going to handle that.
Right. Yeah.
But
Being honest with yourself in a situation like that. But that just hearing it from you based on our last podcast is good because
Yeah.
then it's just not us telling the people
Right.
something. It's it's from another.
Yep.
Solidifying our our thoughts on that whole process. Appreciate that, Ben.
yeah.
What's your favorite thing when you wake up and go to work as being a fishing manager? I mean, I think that's kind of cool. Like you get to help people every single day. You get to tell them new things about
Yep.
fishing, about this. So when you think of your job in a whole, what's the best part of your day when working?
I just get to play with fish and stuff all day. That's my passion, and I can go in there and I get to play with it. I get to sell it. I get to see what's cool, and you know.
mean, you're in the fishing industry.
Yeah.
But you're that one guy that is, instead of being like tagged with a couple different like companies, you're the guy that
Has
has
them all.
and you
Yep.
need to know everything.
Yeah.
You need to tell people and help people and direct them and teach them.
Yep.
I mean, that's such a cool job to have, and it's kind of awesome to have you
Yeah.
on the Broken Line here to talk about some of that
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, that's
It opens you up to a lot. The fishing industry is full of brand snobs, and that's the main thing about fishing industry. Working and selling everything, you get to see what each brand has something good.
Right.
You know, every brand has something good.
Right.
And you get to see that, and you get to sell it and point it out, and show something. Maybe a clam fish house has versus a Eskimo fish house. point
Right.
out the differences and point out why they're both good and maybe why a couple of them are bad.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In your time, I mean, let's talk about the ice fishing industry. In your time in the position that you're in now,
Yep.
I mean, have you seen growth?
Oh, yeah. Ice fishing is exploding.
And you've worked,
Huge.
what, like 4 years?
I'll be 7 years in the retail industry.
Or just 7 years?
Yep.
That's a relatively short time, but you're saying it with big eyes. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
dude, it's like,
It's huge. I mean, you used to go in and be reluctant to buy a $40 ice rod combo. People are dropping $250 on a custom rod and say a 13 reel that's $110,
right.
and they're not blinking an eye at it.
Nope.
It's crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
people had tough time spending money on summer rods, and now they're buying 6 ice rods with that price. So
I know I witnessed that
insane.
a few years ago, working the St. Paul show for a company and building, custom rods and stuff. And guys were just coming up. I'll take, 2 of those, 1 of those, and 3 of these. Like, dude,
yeah, right.
$700 just on rods, no reels, just rods.
Yeah,
And his buddy's dragging a brand new house, an auger, and like, wow, dude.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you get to see it firsthand at a sports show too. St. Paul
and
Ice
he
Show.
gets to see it
I work-
firsthand
yeah.
at the store.
when I
It's-
worked at Reed's, I did the St. Paul Ice Show, and it's unreal.
I know. I worked the Reed's booth this year.
Yeah.
In 45 minutes, I sold 13 augers.
Yeah. We were so packed in the one year. I ate a cheeseburger and sold 7 LX7s. Eating a cheeseburger because we couldn't sit down because it was so busy.
Yeah.
Eating a
Cheeseburger. I sold
You
7
hear it here
LX7s.
And those guys don't care that you're eating a cheeseburger.
No, they don't.
like
They just want to buy it.
Yeah,
It's
they might
crazy.
steal a fry from you, but that's about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy thinking 4 or 5 years ago at the St. Paul Ice Show. I mean, to answer your question about the growth, I mean, seeing it from a show's perspective, the growth is unreal. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that Shields is trying to get as much. Oh, that clothing department or that clothing rack right there is gonna have to go. We got to expand our ice fishing a little
Right?
bit more.
Oh yeah, yeah. My shop gets bigger every year. It has to.
And
Yeah.
you guys do. You guys still have summer stuff available now, and you still have ice fishing stuff. And when summer stuff is there, you usually have some ice fishing stuff too, or do you wait a certain
We
period?
usually get rid of most of our ice fishing stuff. But in the winter we try to keep as much summer stuff as possible. But I have to tear down more and more every year because there's more lures, more rods. But we keep the brass tacks, your shad wraps, your components, your hooks, your swivels. That stuff's all staying out there.
I consider myself kind of a off-season shopper. I'm sure you do too.
Yep.
As that ice is so bad now, you can't get out there. It's like, let me see if I can snag some.
Yeah.
Because
last
back in the
deals.
day, like that was the best time to buy a house.
Yeah.
You could get swinging deals on houses that were already built, and they're just like, we have no place to put it.
Yep.
What do you got on you for cash?
Exactly.
Sold. Like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, and that's kind of going on the aspect of ice fishing in summer. It gets earlier and earlier every year. It's like a light switch goes on, and I think this year was about the second week in August.
Yeah, I was
I
going
was
to ask
getting
you
ice
when
fishing
do you-
calls.
It's no different than
Crazy.
there was I've seen Easter stuff out.
Oh yeah,
Easter candy, like skip right over Valentine's Day. Let's go straight to Easter.
yep.
Dude,
What time do you start
It's
putting
nuts.
ice fishing stuff out?
I put mine out this year. Middle of September,
yeah.
and that wasn't early. I mean, it was early enough for me, but you'd sell it in August.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, people are calling. It's 95 degrees out. Hey, your ice house out yet? No, they're not. It's 95 degrees out. Go fishing in the boat a little bit more.
and
Holy cow.
that speaks the truth of the breed of the ice fisherman.
Yeah.
It just once you get it in here, it just doesn't stop.
And
Yeah.
and the thing
Once
is
it's
too,
time, it's time.
I see customers that come in for ice fishing. I don't see all summer. They only come in when ice season's around because they can't maybe fish in the summer. Maybe they don't have a boat.
Yeah.
Ice fishing, everyone can get out.
Yeah, and I suppose over there in the Dakotas too, it's
Yeah.
the pipe or the oil rig guys.
Yeah,
There's no, they work all summer and then
Right.
winter they get a little more time.
yeah,
Road construction guys, I know a lot of those fellas too. You don't see them all summer,
Yep.
but they're out ice fishing every day in the winter because they're not building roads in the winter.
Same thing as farmers. They come in. You don't see them all summer because they're running crop and they come in the winter and they're ready to go and they're ready to spend money.
So we do a tech segment on every, pretty much not every, but most of our single podcasts that we do. But I'm interested to hear what a person who sees new tech fly through the door and onto the shelves, from your perspective, is there anything cool that you're itching to try out, new tech? Of course, it's middle of the winter.
Right.
That maybe would be a question to ask at the beginning of the winter. But is there any cool products that you're seeing floating around that you want to try? I mean, you get to see, like you said, you see it first.
Right. You know, that lithium shuttle was a big game changer this year. That was huge.
I love it.
I tell you what, I was just up in Lake of the Woods for 5 days, and I didn't have one. I had 3 batteries with me. And that right there told me I'm buying a shuttle because I don't want to drag around 3 batteries anymore.
Yeah, I'm in love with mine.
Yeah.
Like,
It's awesome.
It's never leaving me ever.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
For us, it's charge your phone and charge your GoPro.
Yeah, right.
All day long. You never lose battery.
Yeah.
I haven't looked, and just because I'm this kind of that kind of guy, but you know, eventually that battery that's in there will eventually stop.
Right.
It's going to take a lot longer than a normal NiCad battery, but those lithiums will over time. And I haven't looked to see if there's if you can replace it, or if it's kind of like an iPhone. You got to send it in and they pry it apart and do that kind of stuff. But so far, man, dude, I charged mine when I first got it, and I'm just playing it out, but I'm at 71%, and I've been fishing.
Yeah.
I've been fishing, not as hard as the hard course guys, but I got it before the ice came, so it was like early November, late October.
Yep.
And I have 71% battery left.
My store display that's been out since September is towing the line at 62%.
It's been on the whole time.
Yep. Well, not on, but it's been on display for people to poke it and leave the light on, stuff like that. So, and maybe I'll catch it 3 hours later. It's at 62% still.
Incredible.
Crazy. Yeah,
that's your biggest thing. Is there any other?
The other cool thing too, that what I've noticed, 3 companies did it this year, is a new version of getting glow on your hooks. So Northland came out with the glow shot spoon.
Yep.
And then 13 did the same thing with the flashbang.
Yep.
And now that Thunder Tackle by Boneview came out with that Firefly.
Yep.
And that one lights up by just 2 contacts. Once it hits the water, it turns on.
Very, very similar technology to the Lindy Splash Bite.
Yep.
Splash Bite bobber.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's pretty cool. I mean, that's 3 companies that are all battling after it. I mean, it's cool. Now you don't have to reel up and sit there and glow your lure every 5 minutes. It's on and it's down there.
Right.
Yeah, that's tech wise. That's I mean, we saw the 13 one this year for sure. It's interesting that when you see one company jump on something. I mean, I guarantee we'll probably see the shuttle out in other companies here as time goes on.
Markham's smartest thing to do is build an adapter for every unit.
Yeah, that you can get the shuttle alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was super genius.
Yep. A lot of your guys are on.
And I've seen lots of pictures with
hummingbirds,
Vexes.
Yep.
I think I've seen one shuttle picture with a Garmin.
Yep.
It was one of that expensive.
That Panoptics.
Yeah.
That thing's cool. Yeah, you want to talk about cool. That thing's
Dude, that
gnarly.
thing costs more than my Jeep.
That thing's gnarly.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah, that's...
It's cheating.
It's borderline not really fun.
But it's a game changer when you can see a fish coming in 20 feet. Now you can figure out which direction they're always coming from.
Right.
Swims into the hole. There he is.
If he were a guide, that'd be a great way for you to get clients on fish and keep them on fish. But, man, for everyday fishing, it's like...
Yeah. If you're a panfish guide, you're dumb not to have one.
Right.
It'd pay itself off in a week.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, insane.
I thought it was nuts when I first seen these 2 guys that were fishing the NAIFC. They put that 360 Humminbird down imaging deal on the back of their 4-wheeler type deal, and they drilled the hole for us.
Oh, yeah. Right.
It was unheard of.
Right.
And even Humber was like, whoa, didn't even realize you could use that on the ice. But these guys figured out how to rig it up.
Yeah.
And it was like, all of a sudden people are like, how do I get my hands on this? And then they see the price and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit better at reading those, though. It's a little bit tougher picture. That Garmin's that's scary good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you want to ask him about that one that I told you about?
Shit, dude, I'm 44. I don't remember what you're talking about.
You have the love for trout, and you're taking awesome
Yeah.
trips and stuff, and you're actually going lake trout fishing tomorrow.
Yep.
You just got back from a lake trout trip.
I didn't get to
week
go
and
on
a half
that
ago?
one.
Oh, you
I
didn't
had
go?
inventory. I cried for 2 days straight.
I watched
cried.
their
While
video
you're
they made.
counting
that's what I'm
jig
saying.
heads.
Cried.
Good to go.
So tell me a little bit about your love. I mean, if there's any
Yeah, I
fish
gotta
out
hear
there
this.
that you fish for, that I think you excel most with your social media, it's
Yeah.
got to be lake trout, from
Yep.
Canada trips to Minnesota trips,
Yep.
etc. So tell me your love for lake trout. Tell me some secret stuff about lake trout,
Yeah.
some secret jigs for the people out there that want to know more about lake trout fishing.
Yeah, lake trout, there's not a fish out there like it. I mean, most will compare it to musky fishing of ice fishing. That's what a lake trout is. I hate musky fishing, but I love lake trout. We usually do about 2 or 3 big trips a year. Tomorrow I'm just going to a local lake I probably haven't fished in 10 years.
It's been on fire. I know
yeah.
which lake you're talking about.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm going to Lower Manitou next weekend for a bachelor party, so we're snowmobiling in about 20 miles into a cabin up there and fishing for 4 days. So, yeah.
Hell of a bachelor party.
Yeah. And usually we do the one I missed on this year. Usually we do it in March, so we take we go up to Clearwater West. That's just north of Atikokan. And it's connected to like White Otter, and you can get back into Sanford too. But we take a wall tent and we rough it. We usually, the last 2 years, we've snowmobiled about 15 miles into a camping spot, set her all up, and cut down some wood, and we're roughing it for 4 or 5 days.
You have like that elk style tent.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, with the,
You canvas.
Yep,
Yeah.
canvas tent. Yep, exactly. We
with
got
a
a wood.
little fireplace inside.
Yep, got a wood stove in there. We set up 4 cots, and the last 2 years we've hit it. We went the same exact time, and we ran into a thunderstorm on the exact date to the year. Thunderstorm. And we got
Crazy.
sleds, and it's a mess. And last year was really bad. Our last day, we had a foot of water in our tent.
Jeez.
So
Wow.
that was good. But yeah, lake trout is it's a fish that you fish in 50 to, anywhere from, I guess, high 30s to some people fish 100 feet, and they'll use every bit of the water column.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was going to ask you because I've seen, grown professional men and women that, fish in hardcore panfish, walleyes. They're just on top of it, and they go laker fishing one time, and they're like,
Yeah.
"That's all I want to do. That's
Yeah.
all I care about."
I went 4 years ago again, and that's what sparked the flaring back up, and now that's all I live to do. I could go on maybe one walleye trip a year, maybe a couple panfish, and then I don't care about anything else. And that's how most of the guys that we do it with.
What kind of jigs are you using for?
If you want it, the staple lake trout bait is a white tube.
White tube.
I mean, if you could have one bait to fish lake trout with, it'd be a white tube. My go-to that I've had the most confidence is a blade bait, the CBO vibrato, and that's just a big vibrating bait. And
Are you putting anything on it?
Nope, nothing. Some
And you're
people
just
like,
jigging.
yeah, just jigging. A lot of guys like in Manitoba, Ontario, put on like sucker belly or chunks of minnows. We're just jigging. You just work the water column, go to the bottom, bring it up. Usually I jig in usually the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say tube, for the people listening, he's talking about a bass style tube.
Exactly.
It's got a little skirt on the back. They're usually 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah, and you can dabble the internet and find 6 to, we've even found 8 inches down in the saltwater market. But
Yep.
6 inches are prime if you can find them.
6 inch. I was just going to
Yep.
get into that.
That's the best one.
Yeah, probably because those lake trout are not shy of
No.
big bait.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Is there any specific underwater structure you're looking for when you're lake trout fishing? I mean, you said
Honestly,
the depths,
it's
but
a lot of your typical walleye spots. You're any walleye guy can go out and have good luck if he's looking at a map and it's mapped good. The thing you run to Canada, most of your lakes aren't mapped, but you can look at all those Canadian Shields Lake and see where the structure is going to be. So you can tell where that island drops down off a point. You probably know you just drill it out, and my favorite depth's probably right around that 54, mid 50s, and then rock faces. That's a staple in the lake trout. They're going to ram bait up against that wall and fish it. I don't like to fish in 100-foot rock faces. You can see how tall they are sticking out of the ice. The shorter ones are probably my favorite ones.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. So if you're on a lake shoreline,
Yep.
and you see one rock drop off that comes up
Yep.
5, 6, 8 feet,
Even more, like I would say like 50 feet, but
there's
there's
not the ones that go up. Like,
the ones that go up like 200 feet that make you feel like you're an ant. Yeah, we usually don't fish those because those ones go straight down to 150, 200 feet.
Yeah.
And you get a big lake trout on, he's just going to grab it and go, see ya. Goodbye.
So tell me a little bit about your adventure when you do lake trout fishing. So I mean, you talked about you're setting up, these big, huge tent type deals, but
Yep.
usually you do what, 2 to 6 guys,
We do, our prime group is 4 because that's all we can fit in there, max out at 4.
and you get on your snowmobile, you run 15, 20, 30 miles out
Yep.
to the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Find a tenting spot. Now you're tenting on land, so is that state prop or
It's Queensland.
Queensland? Okay,
Yep.
so let's say Canada. So
Yep.
Queensland. So you can.
Yep,
be
you
on
have
there.
to buy a camping permit, so you can buy in pretty much any bait store on the way up there. The resort car that we go to, Browns Clearwater West, he sells them right there. So
With this
Interesting.
camping permit, it doesn't necessarily mean you're in a campground. Or
Correct.
is it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go on that because I don't know exactly the regs. We were on a designated camping spot. I don't.
Okay.
I don't 100% know if you can camp on any Queensland.
Yeah, I've
I
never
don't-
camped up there, and
Right.
I'm just going by what we do here.
Right.
Like if I want to camp out at Webster, I got to get a permit
Right.
or a state park here.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
So
Yep.
once you find your land that's you can have
Yep.
permission on, you have your ticket deal.
Yep.
You set up your tent.
Yep.
You get the wood, all that good stuff, and now you're basically like roughnecking it out in the middle of nowhere, tent
Yeah.
style.
Yeah,
no batteries, no electricity. You have a generator.
We bring a generator just to charge graphs. We run some lights. We got smart and brought. We used to run lanterns, and we got smart. We're like, hey, we got a generator. Let's just
Bring some lights.
let's bring some lights. But word of advice: don't grab an empty gas can in the middle of the lake and put it in your generator.
Jeez.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work,
We decided that'd be a good idea after the third day we saw it, and we dumped it right in the generator and killed our generator for the last 3 days.
Ooh. So you found a gas tank.
Yeah,
With
right.
random
Right
fluid
on
in
the
there.
trail. Yeah, it's just a bonehead move.
Someone
We're
left
known
it there,
for-
and he's like, "I'm getting someone."
We're known for that. Yeah, it's whatever.
And so after what kind of food do you guys eat on your adventure?
We pre-make stuff. So my staple is I make breakfast burritos. So I pre-make
Ooh,
everything.
Stop, I haven't ate dinner yet.
Yeah, I pre-make those, freeze them up, and we'll just throw them on top of the wood stove. But other than that, it's usually we'll do like a baked spaghetti. That's
Usually you're
already
eating.
cooked.
Usually you're eating good, right?
Yeah,
we
we eat good.
I know you guys. You
Yeah.
guys like to eat good, and
Yeah.
I did see a photo from them having spaghetti the
Yeah,
other day.
yeah, that's a staple. Topper's wife makes some mean baked spaghetti, and it's frozen. You got to make sure you don't have anything that's messy because when you're driving 20 miles and sitting in the sled, you don't want
Stuff all over
your chicken
the place.
pot pie smashed against your ice house.
That makes sense.
That's
You
a bummer.
Freeze a big block of spaghetti.
Yep.
Can't do much damage to that.
Yep.
So then when you go out fishing, do you venture out away from your camp or close to your camp?
No, we go far. The one year we went probably 40 miles into another lake we've never been to. That was fun. But usually we usually go into White Otter a couple days. That's just another. You take a portage over. That lake's really big
To
too.
use it as a base camp.
Yep, we just use it as a base camp. We'll fish in the lake we're camping on too. There's been I think 5 world records that have come out of there.
Ooh.
So
What is the world record, Laker?
that guy who got busted caught
No,
it.
this is through ice, right?
Through ice. Yeah, there's so many different line classes.
Right. I'm familiar with
But
that.
it was broken by that guy who caught it.
I remember that
But he
video.
got busted because the game warden stopped him prior that day, and he already had his one fish on the ice. Well, he caught another one. He gave that one to his buddy, and the game warden saw a picture and said,
Not today.
So
Yeah.
that glorious fish is now.
But that was in its mid 40s.
Yeah, I think the world record. I mean, it's got to be pushing 50 pounds.
Through the ice.
Yeah, we caught 2 years ago. We caught one. Topper caught one that was
I remember the
43 inches. And we talked to Barry, the resort owner. He estimated about 36 pounds. It took him an hour and 45 minutes to get it up.
Oh,
Huge.
And if you're interested, you can look that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
On the Hang Loose page.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an awesome
Yeah.
fight and video you guys made. And you made another video this year, even though
Yeah.
you weren't there.
Yeah,
they
they
made
made
another
it.
video.
Yeah.
When you're out, adventuring, across the lake and figuring out where you're fish. What's the craziest story that you can tell from your adventure? And you guys have a good time, so I know there's probably a million. But
I've yet to fish with these hang loose guys.
Oh man,
and I can't wait to, because I've seen what can transpire, and I've heard the stories.
Is there something scary, something bad besides the gas?
I got a funny one, and I got a pretty scary one.
All right,
funny one. Me and Topper were fishing about, I don't know, you could hear him talking. We were probably 500 yards away, and it was just us two, and I could hear him talking for like 20 minutes. So I thought he was doing a video. And I pull up to him after we decided to move spots. I go, "Oh, were you doing a video?" "No." "Oh, well, what were you talking?" "I wasn't talking." I was like, "Yeah, you were." He goes, "Oh." And Topper, he just loses his mind. He's crazy. He sat there and talked to himself for 20 minutes. And he didn't even realize it. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, that was like our fourth day out there. And I was like, holy cow.
This guy
we got to get you home.
This guy can't be left in the wild too long.
I'm out in the woods alone with this guy. Oh my God.
And then last year was kind of pretty scary. It was pretty scary. It rained all day, melted all our snow. So there was probably kind of like your guys' first episode. There was actually white caps over the ice of water. There was probably 8 inches of water. You drill a hole and it was like just swirling.
Yeah.
So we went in, we took a nap, and as we were napping, game warden pulls up, pokes his head in there, and we're like, "Hey, come on in." And this is pretty funny. He goes, "I ain't coming in here. This place stinks." But he told us, I want to run into this game warden again and ask him this, but he told us, he goes, "Yeah, after this rain, guys, you're fine. It's going to be nice for the next day." We're like, sweet. Well, we didn't leave our tent. About 60-mile-an-hour winds picked up. The rain turned into snow, complete whiteout, and we were holding the tent down pretty much all night because we were scared it was going to blow away. And woke up in the morning. Our bathroom house was 10 feet in a tree. You couldn't see 10 feet in front of you. And that water on the ice turned into about an inch of ice. So we were breaking through into half a foot of water. And we had to get all our gear back for 20 miles. And we couldn't, he has a trail staked out. And we were losing stakes in between. And they were 20 feet apart, 30 feet apart.
And
our stuff turned into a block of ice. We got there, and Dylan has a trailer like Mike's, a big one. We just threw the thing down and just pulled everything in there and said, "Well, this is a big ice block because if we stop, we're screwed."
Wow, that is spooky.
Yeah, I drove the Bearcat and had to tow an otter sled and a fish house, and I had that throttle duct taped, and I was going about 5 miles an hour.
Jeez.
Wow.
Forget that. That's the trip I don't want to be on.
I've had something similar happen too, where I'm, just a little local lake around here. I remember in the zone, I'm catching crappies, big crappies, and I hadn't looked outside for like an hour and a half, and I look outside, and I'm like, oh, I can't see my truck. And it's the middle of the day. Like, gotta go, and you don't hear it, No, it wasn't windy or nothing that day, but yeah, that's spooky stuff, man. Yeah. I've had it happen at night pout fishing.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden, it's snowing. Okay. Then, we're losing the road.
Yeah.
And we've driven all the way across Cass Lake or Pike Bay, and it's like, you hit that snowbank, it's, 3-4 feet high. You're stuck.
You gotta get out.
Yeah. It gets spooky.
It is.
Roll into it's a little bit about Hang Loose Outdoors.
Yeah.
You're a part of Hang Loose.
Yep.
And, get into those crazy one of these deals.
Yeah, it's just like a group of guys like Fish Addictions. I mean, it's Colt's oldest brother, Brock, started it many years ago. I mean, before I probably even knew Colt. So as me and Cole were growing up fishing, we looked up to them and figured out how we could do stuff and help out and get into it. And it's a guide service in the summer. I think there's probably 7 of them that guide in the summer, and then we do a lot of tournaments, fish a lot of tournaments. So it's just it's a wild.
That's when I first discovered Hang Loose.
Yeah.
I was watching the weigh-in at Krause Anderson.
Yeah.
And the logo, I think there was some pretty bright wild.
Oh yeah, we wear some pretty loud jerseys.
They might even been Hawaiian.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Brock and Toppers are green with Hawaiian flowers.
Yep, that's it. And I was like, out of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. I'm like, whoa, wait a second now here.
You guys had orange ones too, didn't you?
That would be, I think Sean and Dave have those. They're not part of Hang Loose, but he owns Ray's Marine.
The first time I got involved with you guys, like 7-8 years ago, whatever it was, it was a long time ago, was filming the Kraus. We did 2 years in a row, and you guys, I remember, you weren't
I wasn't there on that one.
but
Yep.
They were in the parking lot, and they were wearing their jerseys, and I was doing some filming with them, and that was the start of me as doing the stuff with Jake. That was our introduction to Hang Loose Boys, Hang Loose Outdoors, and it's kind of grown from there. And you guys, so you're a guide service in the summertime. You guys have fun. You're a bunch of group of guys just like Fish Addictions. You like to fish. You like to goof around. Your personalities are all high, top-notch, high,
Big
awesome,
time.
fun guys that like to goof around. You guys get excited about
anything.
12-inch
anything. We get fired up.
Doesn't even matter what size it is. You can be sitting there fishing, all of a sudden you catch a little fish, and all of a sudden, woo! The whole everyone's getting crazy.
Well, I just ran into Dylan at Destination Sporting Goods last weekend.
Oh yeah,
I was in there BSing with Aaron.
Yeah,
and I could feel this poke in my ribs. I turn around, I was like, hey, and, I really got to know him this summer, or it was this fall at Rylander's house.
Yep,
sitting around the fire.
Oh yeah,
good times.
And you guys take a lot of fun trips together. You guys do your couple
that's
lake trout trips a year, and you guys look like you have an absolute blast.
Yeah.
You're definitely a good group of people to fish with.
Yeah, ice season is our time to all hang out. Summer, we're all tournaments. We're all stressed, guiding. We just don't see each other a lot.
Do you do tournaments with them?
I do. Me and Colt do tournaments, Me and Colt have fished tournaments for pushing 5 years now, 6 years.
Tell me a little bit about your tournaments. What tournaments do you go into? What ones do you look forward to? Tell me a little bit about your tournaments.
So my favorite two are definitely the Kraus, now the Knights of Columbus. That's an awesome ran tournament. And then my absolute favorite is the Graha on Pokegama. It's awesome. We got me and Colt were 2 pounds shy of winning it last year. We got second. So we were pumped but bummed at the same time.
Pokegama is a cool lake, man.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was fishing a bass club on a Nashwauk. Yep. And we always had our last tournament of the year was in the fall on Pokegama.
Yep.
And I remember our club president earlier that summer got an 8-pound largemouth out of there.
Oh, yeah.
He brought the mount in.
And the smallie fishing out there is insane.
Yeah. That tournament in the fall, a lot of people know me for catching all these weird fish. Well, I didn't have a very good tournament, but I did catch a fish, and I brought it up to the scale and weighed it. At the time, it tied a state record. I tied the state record rock bass out of there.
Oh, yeah.
1 pound, 14 ounces.
Yeah. We've pulled, me and Colt, between the two of us, I think we've pulled a couple smallies pushing 22 inches. I know my biggest is 20 on. I think Colt got a 23 last year.
Yeah.
And it's not fishing for him.
It was a couple winters ago. Me and a buddy, we got sick of drilling holes, so we grabbed his little boat. This is like the end of February, first part of March. Ran over to the Minnesota Power Discharge there.
Yeah.
Got into a pile of dogfish, looking for bluegills, but man, was it fun. It was really cool. Here it is, Everybody's still drilling holes. We're pulling a boat.
Yeah. Cars
are like, what you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a buddy who used to bowfish dogfish out there.
Yeah. We when we used to bowfish heavily, we went there twice, and there was probably 35 pelicans right up against that warm discharge.
Oh, really?
So we're sitting there coming at it with our bright lights, and they don't even know what's going on. They're sitting there. We're just coming, and I swear to God, we get from here to the wall away, and all of a sudden they start to know that there's something going on, but they can't quite tell what it is, and they start to fly. But of course, these are big birds.
Those things are
so they need a little bit of a they need a little bit of a running, airport lane, and they're coming in. They're hitting the boat. And then they're crapping everywhere. They're hitting the boat, and like we weren't.
You're crapping everywhere.
Yeah, right? Like holy crap! Trying to duck from these things, and I mean, we weren't endangering the animals. We weren't trying to either. We were just taking it nice and slow fishing, going okay.
Maybe they'll move.
Well, they just didn't until it was too late, and then they got out of there. But they circled around and they took back action at us when we turned around out of there. They flew back over and they were crapping on us. It it's dark, and you just see squirts of white hitting, like run, just
Under attack.
Finding Nemo, isn't there a scene off that where they're doing that?
absolutely.
Just laughing at you.
So
No.
you're before you get into whatever your next question is, you're giving a gift card away?
Yeah, I got a $50 Shields gift card.
$50 Shields gift card.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in getting in on that, message Facebook page.
I'm going to do it right now.
Boom.
I got
Give you a
first
reason to
dibs.
get there.
Message the Broken Line podcast Facebook page after listening to this. Message it. Shields, how is it? 50?
50.
Shields 50. And you'll get thrown in a drawing for a gift card from Shields and back at you.
Do you guys play around in Ice Fish Kegama or that whole system? Like, do you go back into like Jay Gould and Little Jay Gould or
High school, we used to ice fish all the time in high school, and it's good. It's an evening and early morning, but it's like you got about a 20-minute window.
now? Rumor has it, there is lake trout in.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely.
Do you guys target them or can you or?
Yep, some people target them. I know Brock, part of Hang Loose, he targeted him one summer. He put a little downrigger on his boat, and he did all right.
Okay.
I know. So there's a huge smelt. That's a smelt forage lake.
Yep.
And they died off one year in the summer. They all died off, not all of them, but I mean it was a mat of smelts. And that winter, more lake trout got ice. But I was in a spear house with my buddy, and we were in 8 feet of water, and a lake trout came and smashed the decoy. And I put a jig down and I caught it. We were in 8 feet of water.
I suppose it was starving.
Yeah, they're all eating perch, and the walleyes went nuts after that because they didn't have. I mean, now the smelt are back in the middle of summer. The walleyes, they just follow the smelt around.
Right. Yeah, Pokegama is always, if you look at the Creel census, man, it's got everything in there.
They stock muskies in it now. I think every other year they're putting muskies in there. I know a couple that I've got caught, not real big ones, but if they're doing well, the first time they stock them, there should be some big ones in there, but I don't know if there is.
Yeah, it's got just about everything. I don't think it has catfish in it.
Nope.
I didn't think so, but it does have sturgeon, doesn't it?
No sturgeon.
No?
Not that I'm aware of.
I just thought maybe part of that whole.
No, but I mean, just about anything get into it because it's
a river.
You can get to the Mississippi from it if you go into Little J, Big J, and then you're right. You're right on the river.
Right. Huh.
So just about anything can get into it if it really wants.
Yeah. Yeah, I fished it a few times way back in the day, and it's a big lake, and there's a lot of water, but man, you never know what you're going to have.
Yeah, it's humbling. That's the best way to describe that lake.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're planning on doing Hang Loose Outdoors podcast too. Once we get, we'll get one or two of them in here for a little action. But
you don't want to get more than two. Gets a little scary with more than two.
There definitely will only be two in here. Maybe we'll do 2 different podcasts. We'll do a part 1, part 2. We'll do 2 of them, and then we'll do 2 at a separate time.
He's one of the guys. He's like, hold up.
You could put a jungle gym out in your garage out there to keep the rest occupied.
We definitely cannot have 2 in here and 2 sitting, because I know that if they get fired up, the whole clan gets fired up. And the whole room. It's
kind of like
spinning.
a school of piranha, one of them smells blood.
That's right.
Okay, here we go.
Exactly. But you've done some fishing with us specifically, and with Fish Addictions. This past season, which will be part of Fish Addictions season 3, you did a Hunters Helping Heroes event.
I've done 2 of those. Yep.
You've been to 2 of them.
Yep.
You've came on a couple other shoots. Plus, we actually filmed with you guys in the Grand Rapids area for Hang Loose Outdoors in season 2.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about filming with a fishing show. Just tell me a little bit about that aspect in your career of just having fun. And we'll start with that, and then we'll transition into the Hunters Helping Heroes event.
I think it's the whole filming aspect. It's cool because you get to bring other people into it that maybe don't get the chance to do it, and it's so much cooler after. I mean, we did 2 of I've been on 4 episodes now, and you have no idea what it's going to look like until you see it come out, and you're like, holy cow, when did he film that?
Right.
It's really
when did
cool.
they get a shot of me eating a hot dog nice in slow motion?
Yeah, right. It was sweat pouring down my face.
Sweat pouring on your face, eating a hot dog in slow
4K.
motion.
Here you go. Yeah, no, it's a lot of It's a fun. I've got to know Mike really good. I call him one of my good friends now. From he's right in Thompson, so he's in the store quite a bit. So I've got to know him really well. So anytime I can get a chance to fish with you guys, it's a blast. I know all the Fish Editions guys pretty well now.
And you got last year we did an episode in Africa And
yeah, that was Africa. It was hot.
hot that day. I'm talking end of winter. It was actually February-ish, and it had to have been 65 degrees. We walked in. We did like a 4-mile snowmobile ride and a 1.5-mile walk in with all the gear, just to get in there to catch a bunch of bluegills and crappies and just the adventure. There was some islands and it was Africa hot. We were taking off all of our stuff and our clothes. And it was just awesome. We had a fire out there. We had hot dogs, chips, and just a bunch of group of guys having fun, and you guys made that trip just so much more interesting with all that, personality you brought to the table. Yeah, it was a blast for sure.
Yeah, I think you guys came in about on 2 hours of sleep from pout fishing.
Oh yeah, yep, that was right after the pout trip, and then I had to leave early because
your kid was on the way. Yeah.
My kid was on the way, so it was.
I remember that.
It was a deal for sure. That
asking
trip.
if there was cell service, like I don't think there's gonna be cell service out in Africa, but
I'm like,
we'll
I
see.
need cell service. But yeah, so we did that trip with you guys, but more recently we filmed a Hunters Helping Heroes episode, which is HHH, which we took 8 vets. We brought them in. Some flew in, some drove in, and we took them out on Devil's Lake. And that's an episode that will be at the end of this season. And you got to be one of the head people there. We also, of course, had it at Shields, the event. So how is that? How is being a part of Hunters Helping Heroes and part of Fish Addictions tying in with that with Shields there? How was that for you?
It's an awesome opportunity. The first time Mike asked us, I was like, yeah, we got to do this. And it's going on the trip and getting to know those guys. It takes them a little bit to open up, but once they do, it's an eye-opening experience. They start telling stories, and you don't take stuff for granted too much anymore.
None of the military people because we've done this Hunters Helping Heroes event well over 3 years. None of them have ever not told or opened up in the boat or wherever we are. They really open up and tell a story, and that episode is, I think, going to be awesome. It's going to be towards the end of season 3. It's open water. It's at Shields. It's an awesome adventure with 8 vets out in the boat with terrible weather, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it was brutal.
And we had an absolute blast. They have an absolute blast, and you get to kind of see a little bit of the
I suppose it's it's a comfortable atmosphere, and and it's probably very therapeutic for those guys.
The whole point of this,
I haven't had the opportunity to get the help out. I'm going to make sure I get to do that this year.
The whole point of a trip like this for them is for them to just, in a sense, put everything to the side, relax, fish with other people that have been in their situation, and just we take care of everything. We clean the fish, we cook the fish, we have fish fries, we sit around a campfire, we take them fishing, they relax, and it's an awesome therapeutic type situation.
That's exactly the one guy on our boat. I mean, he didn't catch many fish, but he goes, I don't care, this is literally my therapy. That was his exact words. It's like, that's pretty cool.
Just to be able to have that experience. So you've done that, and that's awesome that you've joined around for that experience with us. But you also, are you coming on?
Oh yeah,
March.
Yeah, you're getting 4 hang loosers on that trip, buddy.
So we're going to Manitoba for a fishing trip in March, and we are bringing 4 of the hang loose boys. Up for big pike.
What's the ratio here?
4 fish addictions.
So it's 1-on-1.
Yeah.
From what I just heard, it sounds like it needs to be more like 3-on-1.
Well, it's
just to control these hang loose dudes.
It's 5 fish addictions guys, but I'm the camera guy, so 4 fishermen, fish addictions guys, and then or I think it's actually it might be 3 I'm the 4th. We might have. It just depends on the room in the truck. It's either we're bringing 5 or we're bringing 4, depending on the seats, because we can fit 5, but I think last time we went, we only did 4 just because of space. And they're bringing 4. And we're going all the way up, 16 hours?
From here, it's probably 16. I mapped it out the minute Mike invited me. It's like 13 and a half from my doorstep to the resort.
So we're looking at between 13 and 16 hours up into beautiful Manitoba. We're going to stay at a resort and lodge, and we're eating the food there, and you guys are bringing food.
We're bringing food, and actually, Mike actually said Manitoba bought us dinner. The hang loose guys.
So they bought you guys dinner.
We get dinner every night.
Perfect.
So we don't have to go hunt wolves and stuff.
So we're going up to beautiful Manitoba. We got a lodge. We got a guide. And this is all part of Travel Manitoba and giving us kind of an awesome, fun experience. We're looking at Big Northern.
Yep.
Big Northern.
Yep.
Hence the big.
50 inches.
Yeah. We're going for big trout, lake trout.
I did some
Big.
I did some research. There's a 64 pounder caught out of there in 2007.
Big lake trout.
Probably leave the tickle stick at home.
Yeah.
And big yellow golden walleye.
Yep.
So we have three fish that we're targeting. We'll try to do maybe one a day, or depending. We just have to figure out how we're doing it. But we're breeding the Hayne Loose boys. So for everyone listening or watching, when that episode comes out, you'll get to see more of Ben out there, and you get to see more of the Hayne Loose boys. And if you were interested in Ben and the Hayne Loose boys episode like 11 or something of last season, you can kind of see the whole Grand Rapids episode that we did, and you can kind of get a feel for who these guys are for this next.
It's either 9 or
shoot.
12.
Yeah,
9 or 12.
Because 11 was the pout.
I think it's 12. It's 12 then.
It's 12.
It aired after the pout episode, I believe.
So 12?
12.
Yep.
Perfect. So 12 on YouTube. You can check that out. Make sure to subscribe on the Fish Addictions YouTube as well as the Broken Lines YouTube.
And Hang Loose.
And, definitely check out the Hayne Loose Facebook page. They have reports and different things that they put out for content. They're a bunch of
YouTube
wild
too,
group of
right?
people.
And it's not a whole lot on there. They're getting more. Colt and Dylan are actually doing a bunch more now stuff, so they kind of
check them out on Facebook would be the best bet.
Facebook would be the
you
best.
can see that 2 years ago, that trout video you guys did, as well as the one they just did the other day, as well as any future ones that you guys are going to do.
Right.
And then also look for you on the Hunters Helping Heroes episode that's coming out in the future here. But I have one more thing. You're going to have to do the
Rapid fire
without even knowing anything, because you
that's no problem.
Perfect.
I have so much.
So the last question I have before we get into rapid fire and then get into closing is, you were hacked on Facebook.
Oh man.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, you had to start a whole new Facebook page.
Yeah, and I seen Patrick add me today, and I figured he was going to get to creeping on my fish pictures, and I got 2 on there now.
Okay, I thought we were friends before, and I was
when I got hacked.
And I was like, why aren't we not? Because I was like going to
ISIS be hacked.
do some
ISIS
creeping. I wanted
my-
to find like some weird thing in a picture and be like, hey, you need to talk about this. Explain yourself. But I was like, what? Why? Okay, friend request. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, there was pictures on there that once he got my account, like the profile picture was like a bloody middle finger, and I was like, oh man, this is not good.
Wow.
So you couldn't get it back?
No, and the worst part is it was like a Hotmail account from when I was in like middle school, and I didn't know the password to that. I tried my hardest to get into it, and I finally, I said, you like those pictures way more than I do, I guess.
Can we still find that account on there
Oh
somewhere?
yeah, I think so.
So if we type in your name.
I think if you type in Ben Olson, you can get all sorts of scribbly lines.
I do see you posted a picture on your new page of the old ISIS page. That was on there.
Yeah,
and when we say ISIS, I mean, I don't know if it's ISIS.
It's not. But it's
that's
probably
probably the worst way to say it.
It's
I
probably,
think it was like some sort of Arabic type thing. But at the same time, I've seen them take over pages, and now next thing you know, your profile picture is an ISIS flag and all this weird stuff. So we're not downing the Arabic people on that specific thing, but when someone takes over someone's Facebook page in that way, it's pretty and have a middle finger that's all bloody. I think it's directed towards a bigger threat than you think.
I say it in a comical way. I'm not making any generalizations, but
that's crazy, because I've been seeing in the last, I would say, 5 months, a lot of people all of a sudden having that happen, and I ended up sometimes just delete them.
Oh yeah,
as
that's
friends.
you have to. I mean, it's
and it gets me nervous because we're doing this, and this is on Facebook, and the fish addiction stuff, and like it's like these friend requests come in waves.
Yeah,
and like I'm in the middle of a wave right now. I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna check the weather. You have 14 friend request notifications.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to connect with some of these people. I look, first thing I do is mutual friends.
Right.
Okay, that's mutual friends. Good. How many photos they have?
They got 58 mutual friends. I click on it and be like, I scroll through the profile and be like, wait a second, 58 mutual friends, and you have 2 pictures. One of them's a profile picture, and one of them's a random picture.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it today, bud.
Not today. That's what I was saying.
You know, so
That's what I try to stay with.
yeah,
with
no, and it seems to either be for me. It's either I'm getting a lot of requests from Canada,
Yeah.
or down by the Gulf, that Florida region down in there.
Yep.
You know, and
What's the point of it? I mean, what do you want to do with
the
my
last
Facebook?
couple? I was like, yeah, man, this guy's got a legitimate page and stuff, and maybe this is a connection that I can make someday, or hit it, and it's like 5 minutes after I accept it. Please like my page for some sort of
Oakley
lure.
sunglasses.
No,
that was a
nothing
huge
like
one.
that. It's like a fishing related guide service or page or
Yeah.
product,
Yeah.
clothing line.
I get nervous when someone says, thanks for accepting my friend request. I'm like, I might have to shut you down
Yeah,
right now.
exactly.
Who thanks someone for accepting a friend? Unless you're about to bombard me with like Oakley glasses or something.
Yeah.
I remember the Oakley one was a big
That
deal.
was huge.
That was
$25
fake-
Oakleys.
fake Oakley sunglasses, and it just was
Nuts.
hitting it by storm. Yeah, you'd wake up with 20, 30 new Facebook friends, and some of them had it in their profile picture, some of them didn't. You just click on the wrong one. It's like,
Yeah, the best are like girls in bikinis. It's like, I'd like to be friends with you, but I know that's not you.
Dude, I say
You have
that
no-
to
you have
myself
no-
all the time.
you
like,
you
listen,
you
lady,
just
if you
started Facebook?
actually seen me, you probably wouldn't want to be
Yeah,
friends with me.
right.
I'm just a weird fishing guy in
Yeah.
northern Minnesota.
Yeah.
You
Not
just
hot.
joined Facebook for the first time in 2018 and you're 32 years old? I don't think so.
No.
Right.
Unless you're an old lady or an older person getting into it. And even now, I mean, we're getting people that are telling us they're like, Facebook, I'm on like Snapchat and Instagram. Facebook's for my mom and dad. I'm like,
Yeah,
Mom
it
and
is.
Dad, I'm 26 years old, and Facebook was my age when I was younger. Not this. It was a college age startup. It wasn't for your mom and
The
dad.
original Facebook was the bar.
the bar,
When I was 22 years
Yeah.
old, it was the bar.
the bar, and then MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah, MySpace. I had one of those pages.
I didn't. I never had a MySpace.
Be
MySpace,
thankful, guys. It was
I had,
weird.
Like, the text falling through.
Oh man.
And then like you had like music come up, like right when you jump on your profile picture, like a beat would come in. Like no, I bet you I still have a.
I think MySpace
account.
is still out there. It's used for
Music.
mostly.
more music than anything. All right, hit them with some rapid. We gotta.
All right, I'm gonna.
What have you ever had a cheese witch?
Dude, I haven't. I've been seeing these on all your Snapchats and all this stuff.
I was you like 3 weeks.
I don't know
ago.
what a cheese witch is.
He just had 2 of them the other, a couple weeks ago. And
Oh, now I've had at least 40 of them.
they're a piece of cheese, a piece of meat, and a piece of cheese vacuum sealed together.
That sounds like heaven.
Yeah, no bread, no calories, and no sogginess.
There's
when you're on the
calories,
boat.
dude. It's no
Well,
carbs.
No carbs.
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 That's what it is. Yeah, but yeah, that's.
I might
the
have to
bees
look into
knees.
those.
And they just added bacon and eggs now, and they I think just added cheese curds, if I'm not mistaken. And then they have like 4 different kinds of cheese, and they're coming out with a new cheese line right now.
I've only seen the 2:
Where do you
the
find
Colby Jack and the
They're- 'cause
Pepper Jack.
Those are the biggest ones up here.
Where do you find these
At
said
the,
cheese witches?
At the gas station when you pull out.
All right, maybe when I'm back to Rapids, I'll have to get a stack of them.
Senex.
Holiday as you're
Holiday.
leaving town.
So I can't go wrong anywhere I go.
The Holiday as you're leaving town. If you cut through town, that Holiday right across from Hampton,
Yep.
they have them.
And if you're
I
going
buy
this
them there
way,
every morning.
If you're going back out
Yeah.
and you're hungry, stop at the Senex. They're bound to have them because they always do.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a
I'll
look.
go in there. I'll buy a case from them.
I'll have to dabble.
But yeah, the cheese witch is awesome. But
Okay.
what we asked this in our last podcast too. What's your ultimate on ice? Because the one thing that we missed when I was answering that question that I wanted to say was a big thing that we do at Fish Addictions is we grill out on the ice,
Yeah.
brats and burgers
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So for all the people that listened to the last podcast that are now listening to this one, when I talked about the on ice snack, I think one of the biggest things that we love to do is have burgers and brats and hot dogs and stuff like that when we're on the ice. It's more of that. Ooh, that warm, that warm brat, that you smell the grill fired up and you're fishing and someone's tending to it. That's perfect. But what do you like to?
That the best time on ice is honestly tip up fishing. Yeah, you eat until you're sick, and it always happens. You got your burgers, you got your brats down just how you like them. Flag goes off, you come back, and then babies are burnt. You still eat them though.
I forgot you were on the tip up. episode with us too.
Yeah,
The heck?
yeah. There was 3 of us on there. Yep.
By the sounds of it, these guys here are the guys to travel with when it comes to not only fishing but
Yeah,
food,
yeah.
Absolutely.
spaghetti, and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even playing catch football, frisbee. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a good fun episode.
Yeah.
But
You ready? Rapid fire time.
Hit me.
Okay, I'm going to start off the bat with our classic first question.
Classic.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Short answer: Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm gonna go Star Wars. I've never seen Star Trek.
Perfect answer. Beautiful.
Perfect answer, yeah.
We've had one Star Trek dude here.
And 1 or 2, I don't know. I don't watch it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I've never seen either one of them.
I think
So
only one.
we just kind of wrote those guys
Yeah.
up. Yeah, whatever.
we
You're
shut
a
him the door
weirdo.
right after.
Um,
Taco Bell or Taco John's?
T-Bell all day.
boom. Good call.
Show him the $5 box.
Oh, he's seen it.
I live like
Have you had their breakfast yet?
yeah, I have actually. I can throw
Unbelievable.
baseball at a Taco Bell from my house.
It's
Ooh, that would be
unbelievable.
dangerous for
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Oh, I'd
Best
be
of both
dead.
worlds. I got a church right next to me, so I go to church every Sunday by association because it's right out my bedroom window,
Nice.
and then I can throw baseball at Taco Bell.
Unreal.
Yeah,
You got it made, man.
yeah, right.
Let's see.
Open water or ice fishing?
Yeah.
Open water.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. And we're gonna go with grape jelly or strawberry.
I'm gonna go strawberry.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah, raspberry's probably my favorite.
Okay, I'm just glad you didn't say. I'm glad you didn't say marmalade.
I can't.
It looks
pronounce
so good, but
marmalade.
it tastes so horrible.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, but it's like whoa, it's
Cookie
foul.
butter or peanut butter?
What?
Cookie butter or peanut butter?
What is
Stop. Yep, get cookie butter next time you're anywhere. Walmart
what
or something.
is- I'm
Cookie
gonna-
butter. Have you ever been on the Delta airplane?
Probably.
Have you ever had the cookies?
Yes.
Okay, that cookies
Yeah.
is made into a peanut butter. Those are my favorite cookies ever.
Oh.
Like a ginger
So,
snap
like-
type cookie, but it's made into a peanut butter so you can spread it on anything.
Wow.
And it's super good. You can get it at Walmart. That might be another stop before you head.
Taste nothing like peanut butter.
No,
No,
it's not.
tastes
It
like
tastes like a
cookies.
cookie.
Wow.
It's cookie peanut
I
butter.
don't know.
Adidas or Nike?
Nike.
Okay,
Yep.
I think I'm done.
I mean, you hit a couple. I always like to throw that out there just so we can get a couple feels for you.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
Plus, I'm all wound up about fishing, and I need to
Yeah.
chill out.
Yeah.
And we already know your favorite fish. That would be actually what is it? Is that not your favorite fish?
They probably are. I mean, if I had to pick 2 seasons, lake trout by far, ice fishing. Summer, it's walleye all day.
Interesting.
Yep.
Someday we'll get a weird guy like me in here.
Kind of a walleye snob, but I like to. I'm in the catfish league in Grand Forks, so I love big channel cats.
You know, I have never fished the Red River for channels, and I want to do it.
That's
Unreal.
might be.
I have a good buddy, Brad Durick.
Hey, I actually put a motor on Brad Derrick's boat. He's one of my good friends now. He's in the
Yeah, me
in
and
the
him
store
used
all
to
the time.
chat all the time when I was with Freybill and stuff.
Yep.
And he was always making fun of me because I like to bullhead fish.
Yeah,
He's like, man, quit catching my bait. And I'm like, I'm catching almost 20-inch bullheads.
yeah.
So, yeah,
he's
well, those are
catching 22-pound catfish.
right. He said, come on over anytime and get a
that guy's
kitty. And I
a
was like, oh,
wizard.
dude, I'd love to.
Yeah, he took me out for 20 minutes. I put a trolling motor on his boat, and we had 4 18-pounders flopping in the bottom of the boat in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
He's unreal.
I don't think, at least that section of river, I don't think there's a guy out there that knows it any better.
No, and he has the whole thing mapped.
Mapped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
insane.
he's written a couple of books about it.
Yeah,
I mean, the dude is
he's a wizard.
he's dialed in on the catfish stuff. It's
I
insane.
think it'd be fun to do a catfish episode.
Oh, for sure.
Does anybody ice fish for catfish out there?
Not catfish. You know, I've asked Brad a few times about it, and I think
I
it's
have
so
too.
tough. It's I don't know.
It must be different than
Yeah.
you know, because there's some lakes in Minnesota where you can get
Yeah.
cats through the
Right.
ice, but those are lakes. It must be a different
Yeah, and
Different
I don't know if
scenario.
a lot of them migrate back up towards Manitoba, and maybe some of them do.
into
I don't know.
Lake Winnipeg or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not the right guy to ask that, but there's not.
Or maybe just the rivers is too dangerous.
It is a little goofy in a lot of spots. I mean, there you do see snowmobile tracks running down the middle of it, but I think a lot of guys walleye fish around town. Not a lot, but
Yeah.
enough to make a presence.
Yeah.
Hey and Loose Boys just got Eskimo as a sponsor, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, courtesy of
Well,
Mike.
congratulations,
We're all on the
guys.
page. Yep.
I know 2 years ago when you guys were with us, they were like, man,
Yep.
We love asking. We gotta get going with them. So yeah, congrats on locking in a good company. And, it's cool seeing you guys, form. Like me and Mike have talked, it would be awesome to have you guys part of Fish Addiction.
Yeah, and it's been in the talks. It's going to be
you guys need to keep talking.
It's going to be a sit down situation where it'll probably happen.
I'd love to see.
That'd be pretty cool.
It's a sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
It's a sneak talk peek.
That's like that's like insider. Shh.
Aaron, you're gonna have to find that little thing where it goes.
For the last 45 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think that was good. I'm set unless you have some more awesome, amazing questions to talk to Big Benny here.
Dude, we're fishermen, man. We could sit here for half the night.
Right.
We could go until sunup. And then hit Taco Bell in the morning. He can get his cheese witched, and I can go to work half tired.
Yeah.
Half tired.
Half tired.
Well, it was awesome for you to make your venture over here all the way from Grand Forks. Yeah. Good luck fishing lake trout tomorrow. I hope to see some photos, of course. So. But don't forget to check out Hang Loose Boys on Facebook. Follow their adventure as well as Fish Addictions. Follow our future adventures with Ben, and because there's actually a couple cool surprises this season with you guys. So that's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Hope to get some of them in here as well.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us, Broken Line, on social media, Instagram, Snapchat.
Tell the boys how cool this place is.
Oh, yeah. They want to come. They all listen to it now. None of us were podcasters now, and now we all are.
Aaron, you hear that? Get them hooked.
I'm stuck on Meat Eater now, too. That's all I listen to on the way here. That guy is a genius.
I will say, when we put on Fish Addictions episode that they were on last year, did you guys put it up on the...
They put it on. Dylan has a huge garage, and they put it up on a 16-inch TV, and they had like a 30-person gathering. I was unfortunately working, but yeah.
For what?
Episode.
One of the episodes released that they were in, they put it up on the big TV, and they had like 30 people in there. And
awesome.
They Facebook Live.
I remember that. Yeah.
I
remember that.
It's awesome when you can get excited about something like
so
that.
You're deep into Meat Eater?
Oh, I watched the show, and that guy, now just listening to him, he is a genius.
Steve Renella?
He's awesome. It's crazy.
He's well-spoken.
It's crazy the amount of podcasts that have been popping up in the last couple months, by the way.
Right.
Just throwing that out there. I don't know if we're leading the steam here with this,
but
I
think so.
Yep.
With the amount of hits that
means
we've
a lot,
had,
dude.
And the amount of viewers and the amount of people that have been excited for this, I hope we can just keep pounding them out because we have fun, and getting you guys in the studio, I think, is the most important thing for other people to get an aspect of other people's fisherman's life.
Yep.
Talk, banter, have fun, talk fishing, talk hunting, talk the outdoors, and just have a good old time.
Behind the scenes, I've been working on getting in contact with Steve. He travels around.
He does. Where they do like live ones. You go vote. You go vote on your website.
I saw that on Facebook.
Well, if you listen, go back in his catalog and you listen through, he's got some. So there, they used to have a cabin up here in northern Minnesota somewhere.
He's from get him in.
He's from Michigan.
Yep.
He's familiar with northern Minnesota and that type of stuff. But I've been sending him little messages via email through his website, a little bit on Twitter, sending him some pout pictures, something to get him a little bit like, whoa, dude, because he likes gnarly stuff.
He does.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to send him like some attention.
If he could come film with Fish Addictions TV and do a podcast, that'd be
there
awesome.
You
go.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome having you in. Thank you for coming. We have a lot of awesome guests in the next 2 months, I would say, that are in line to jump on.
That's what's crazy, Ben, is we had to form a line.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got in. I heard the lineup, and I'm honored to be in.
It was one of those.
Dude,
I just got back, and you were coming through. I think we got Chip Lear coming up. We're starting to have to put him into schedules to figure out when I'm here, when he's here, and when our guests can.
That's outstanding for you guys.
Fluctuate, and we're having fun. I mean, that's what this is all about, and the amount of gain we're getting. The travel. I was just talking to Travel Manitoba, one of the guys that does the tourism and stuff up there.
Yeah.
He's like, Broken Line podcast. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. I was like, you need to listen to the J one,
Yeah, that was sweet.
He was just on. So, besides following us on all our social media and on the phone, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, the apps, all that good stuff. Give us a like on Facebook. Give them a like on Facebook. Subscribe. And just catch out for the next podcast.
Thank you, Ben, for stopping in and the generous donation gift for
absolutely.
our viewers.
Don't forget
awesome.
The awesome gift card giveaway.
That door Now you know how to get to the famous studio.
Yeah.
Door's always open, man.
Perfect.
Hit us up.
We hope
Awesome.
to have you come back and maybe do a smaller podcast on a specific thing. Now
Yeah.
that we know, now we've done a podcast on who you are.
Yep.
It'd be good to get you in and maybe just talk lake trout fishing or about one of our episodes.
I was
or
just going to
anything.
say, let's try to get these guys in here after their lake trout trip.
Yeah.
Because then all we got to do is go, and here they are with their lake trout trip.
Yeah.
And we push the mics away and
we can add all the bunch of
sit,
clips.
Yeah.
Bunch of
sit
your
back
clips.
and be like, here it is, guys.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely. Well, do you remember the ending?
Yes.
All right. I'm Aaron,
I'm Ben.
I'm Patrick.
and this is
The Broken Line. Nailed it.
Thank you for listening to Broken Line Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.